Hey everybody, and thanks for joining in. This week's nugget is just a little tip, but it will help you out in big, big ways. We're going to be able to take a paragraph and move it so easily. You're not going to believe it. So let's get started. Okay, so I've brought up this nice little document here to have a little bit of fun with. I want you to think for a minute about how much work it would be for you to reorder some of these paragraphs. Now, before we get into this too much, we want to really be sure to understand what is a paragraph. Is this a paragraph? Yes. Is this a paragraph? Yes. Is this a paragraph? Yes. Is this a paragraph? No, it's not, because it wraps around to the next line. So it's part of a paragraph. This would be a paragraph. What about this one here? This would be a paragraph. What about this one? 2/3 of a cup of butter. Is that little tiny thing a paragraph? Yeah, absolutely it is. Anything that you have pressed enter at the end of. And how are you going to know where those enters are? This is a whole other little topic, but to help us out today, on our home tab in Word, we're going to click on this little button right here. And that shows us basically all of our little codes, how things got there. Fun Cookie Monster cupcake recipe, enter. Me want cookie, me want cupcake too, enter. So whenever you see one of those, that means that somebody has pressed enter. So I would say, yes, this is a paragraph, this is a paragraph, this is one, this is one, both lines. This one, 4 lines, is a paragraph. And actually, let me throw in a little mouse trick for you. If you go way over to the left-hand side like this, you can double click and it will automatically select what it thinks is a paragraph. And that's kind of like exactly what I was talking about. So 3/4 cup of sugar, if I double click 3 large eggs, that's all that's getting selected. So we know that those are paragraphs. You need to know that because the keystroke that we're about to talk about today is going to work with paragraphs. So I'm going to be kind of just in the middle of my paragraph somewhere. I don't even have to select it. Now you're going to need 3 fingers for this. You're going to need Shift and Alt, probably on your left side, and either up or down with your right hand. Now, let's say that I want to move this paragraph up. So I basically want to flip the order between these 2 paragraphs, this one and this one. So I'm going to click in the middle of it somewhere, and I'm going to go Alt Shift up. Done. I'm going to do it again. Maybe I want to up even higher. Wow. If I keep going, it keeps going. If I go Alt Shift down arrow, it keeps going too. It'll even interrupt these ingredients here. So I'm going to bring it back to where it was. Way easier than cut and paste. Let's try it on one of these guys. Sometimes when you're cutting and pasting or trying to move bulleted points or numbered points, let's move that sugar down to the bottom. Alt Shift down arrow. Done. What about these numbered ones? Let's say we want to move number 4 and number 5. So I'm going to double click number 5. Remember, number 5, there are a variety of ways. Alt Shift up. Now number 4 is there are a variety of ways. I just love this. This is one of my favorite keystrokes. Now, where else does it work? It also works in tables. So this is a little document that I created for Excel quick keystrokes because, as many of you know, I love Excel. Love Word too, but I love Excel as well. And tables are a little bit different in that you won't necessarily have an enter at the end of every row. So for example, where I see Alt Enter here, I don't have anything that said go to the next line. It doesn't really need it. Just like over here, handy for long titles, I didn't have to hit enter because when I want to go down one, it probably want to go to a new row. If I do want to go down a line like in this one, deletes, removes, whatever you have selected, enter, i.e. row column. That is considered 2 paragraphs, but it's 1 row. So it doesn't really matter about the paragraphs in this way. So when we go Alt-Shift up or down arrow, it actually is doing it by the whole row. So this line here, I'm going to click in the middle of my paragraph somewhere, or middle of my row, and I'm going to move it to the top. So notice Alt-Enter is at the top right now. I'm going to go Alt-Shift up, up, up. Bam. It just moves it, and everything just shifts. It would be a little bit more work to use cut and paste, because sometimes you end up with extra space, and it's just a lot easier to do it with Alt-Shift up or Alt-Shift down. And guess what? It also works in PowerPoint. If we want to reorder something in PowerPoint, let's say I'd like to move this line up. I click anywhere on it, Alt-Shift up, boop, boop, boop. I can even move it into the next part. Boop, 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 boop. It's so great. If I want to move that whole little group, I sort of click on the bullet there. Let's say I want to move that underneath printing tips. I want to move it to the end. So this is going to move the whole thing. Alt-Shift down arrow, boop, boop, done, moved. That will save so much time. So try to practice that, and I hope to see you in some of our Microsoft Office classes. We throw out little tips like this in our classes, so maybe you want to take some. Either way, I hope to see you next time for your next Golden Nugget. Bye for now.